cafetal y las cortadoras vienen muy alegres con sus canastitos a cortar café. Mira qué belleza, mira qué hermosura, mira qué riqueza, cuántas maravillas, Jesús, qué alegría dentro del cafetal. Desprendiendo de las ramas las cortadoras vienen cantando, se escuchan dulces canciones, resonantes carcajadas y a veces hasta oraciones relucen al apresurar. Apresuremos, cortemos ya todos los sacos de café, que la tarea hay que terminar antes del atardecer, antes del atardecer, antes del atardecer.
Hello, hola, mi nombre es Joel. I'm from El Salvador. Yo soy padre de Denise Ávila. Y aquí mi hermano Andrés.
Hi.
Y estamos haciendo esta entrevista con Denise para hablar acerca de un poco de nuestra cultura. Estamos con todo gusto dispuestos a compartir con ustedes.
Okay. So we have a few questions that we're going to ask you about your culture. So why did you come to the U.S.?
Mainly we came to the U.S. because it was impossible for us to live in our country of origin because of the Civil War. I had been drafted to serve in the armed forces and by force, of course. And I was a minor. I was under 18, and my dad decided that he didn't want us to live there anymore.
Okay. When you came to the U.S., what was the biggest shock that you had? Was it everything that you expected?
I had never dreamed of being out of my country. I thought I would always live there and die there. And I had never imagined what the U.S. would be like. And I was expecting to see like a whole bunch of like all white people, blonde hair, blue eyes, and I come here, I see mostly in California where I
I think the same.
most of my life. It was mostly Mexicans, so I was basically in Mexico. So I was like, what?
It wasn't like what we heard before. It wasn't what we expect to see.
Okay, and I remember you telling me that there was more blue-eyed, blonde-haired people in El Salvador.
Back home?
Back home,
Yeah.
Yes.
Then I saw in
That's true.
Anaheim, where I grew up in Orange County.
Okay. So, have you ever felt stereotyped, discriminated, or segregated against because of your culture or because you're not born American citizens?
Yeah, there was a lot of discrimination. Mostly it was same Latinos people. You know, me personally, I didn't have like a dog problem with the black people. With the black people, when I came, I feel like they make me feel like in a family. You know, on that side, so I didn't have the problem. So I don't know my brother over here.
Well, basically, I started going to school, and I was pretty much like the first Salvadorian to admit that I was from El Salvador. There was more Salvadorians there, but they didn't want to admit to it. And we used to get picked on a lot by Mexican and white people and black people.
Okay. When you came, or even now, have you had any communication barriers? Problems with communicating?
At first, I didn't speak a word of English, and so what I used to do when I wanted to like go buy some food, let's say to Carl's, that was the place close to my school, I would have a friend write it down for me, Like I want a cheeseburger with fries and a drink. I would just hand it over to the cashier, and she would just read it and kind of smile at me and tell me like uno minuto, uno momento.
Yeah, of course it was. To me, it was kind of hard, very hard, because we didn't speak the language, and even to cross the street, we didn't know how to do it because we don't have that in our country. So it was kind of very hard for us at the beginning.
Okay. What was your education like when you were in El Salvador?
I went to sixth grade. I was in sixth grade actually when we moved over here.
Yeah, I finished my junior high, and I was doing the 10th, I think in high school, and then we had to come to this country.
Okay. Was education free or was it paid for?
Back home,
Yeah.
it's free.
It's free. Yeah.
Okay. Did you have to wear uniforms?
Yeah.
My own remembers, we only had my dad. I mean, I was living. I remember there because we had to wear uniform. I remember there my dad just bought one pants, one shirt, and we had to make the whole year with that. So yeah.
Okay.
It was.
How does the school system work there?
It's basically the school, like the schools and the you don't have to pay any tuition. It's free. It's I think it's by the government, but you have to buy your own uniforms. Well, back then you did, and you have to buy your own notebooks, your own pencils, pretty much everything, and you have to bring your own food because you don't get no lunch in school. No free lunch.
No.
What were your teachers like?
They were mean. They're very mean.
Yeah.
Well, back in my back then, they were allowed to like spank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah.
With permission.
Yeah, I remember they used to give you the belt. Yeah.
Pull your ears.
Yeah, pull you by the ear. Yeah.
Okay, and so did you guys like school in El Salvador?
No. Me, I never liked school, but but you gotta go.
I like school. I just didn't like my teachers.
Me, I don't like school at all.
So I know that you went to school for a bit of time when you came from El Salvador here. Was it hard to adapt to the new school, the new culture with a different language?
Yeah.
Good.
For me, it was because back then, even though the teachers were like mean, but they cared. It's like they were like on top of you. Make sure you do your homework. Make sure you did take showers. Make sure you like write down the notes and stuff like that. Over here, the teacher's attitude was like, open your books and page so and so, and if you do your work, good. If you don't, oh well, I still get paid. That was their attitude here in California. This is back in the 80s. So it's like they didn't really care. The teachers here, you're pretty much in school. You go to a classroom. Classrooms were like overcrowded, 45, 50 people in one classroom, and the teacher just didn't care about teaching. They're just there for their paychecks, And if you learn, good. If you didn't, who cares?
Yeah, that's right. Me, if I go to school, I go to school. If I didn't go, nobody cares. So back in the country, it was different, totally different, like what you said.
Okay. Is there anything that you miss about El Salvador?
No, no.
Okay, and
No.
why?
I was pretty young when I came over here, so most of my memories are kind of blurry. So it's like this place is like my home, and so I don't miss much.
Me neither. No, I don't miss nothing from my country. That's cool.
Okay. What differences exist between your culture and our culture?
Um, more Hispanic culture, Salvadorian culture is more like family oriented. Um, you are, let's say, you reach the age of 18, and you're still listen to your parents. Most people get married and they never leave home. They still live with their parents. Let's say even with their kids, and the dad, it always tells, it's like a counselor for their kids, and they always have that respect for the elders. Maybe in other parts of the U.S. they have that, but in California where I grew up, once most kids grow up wishing they reach age of 18, so they don't have to listen to their parents anymore, and it's like you can't really discipline your children because they'll be like, oh, dial 911. You know, it's like the 911 thing is like abused.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay. Do you guys have any different traditions that you practice in El Salvador that we don't have here?
Traditions.
Or maybe like holidays?
Tons. Like, for example, for Christmas here, people gather and they eat turkey and they build a little tree and they put ornaments on the tree. Back home, we do fireworks. Back in El Salvador, that's like sort of like the way we celebrate is the same way they celebrate 4th of July here.
Yeah.
They do a lot of fireworks.
It's similar like Mexico.
Same like Mexico.
Yeah, like they do fireworks too here in Mexico, and we have the same over there too. We'll celebrate Christmas over there.
Is religion important in El Salvador?
To us, very important because we grew up in a religion, Christian, and we're still doing it. And it's very important in our life.
Yeah. Yeah. What was it? Is there a lot of poverty, or did that affect you when you were growing up?
Yeah, most people in Salvador are poor. Let's say, I would say 70% of the population, they're below poverty level. And let's say a good 10% or a good 20% are like middle class level. And only like, let's say maybe less than a 1% hold most of the riches of the country. It's very bad.
Very.
So when you guys were growing up, were you consider yourself poor?
That's below poverty level. We're poor.
Very poor.
Very poor.
What type of foods do you eat in El Salvador?
Mostly
When we eat,
like everyday food is like beans and rice. A lot of beans, a lot of rice.
yeah.
And on special
Once a year we have a chicken.
on special occasions, like on birthdays, for Christmas,
Yeah.
and for Easter, then we would have like chicken or pork or beef. Very seldom.
Okay. What type of transportations are used in El Salvador?
Most people walk. They walk a lot from point A to point B. Also, you use the public transportation, and very few people have cars.
Okay. When you were in El Salvador, what type of activities would you guys do for
Play
fun?
soccer.
We play soccer 24/7. We like fishing.
Fishing, yeah, we love
Fishing, we love fishing. Hunting,
swimming,
lots of
water sports, yeah.
Yeah.
What's the climate like in El Salvador?
It's like heaven. Beautiful. It's like 70 to 90. It fluctuates from 70 to 90 Fahrenheit all year round.
All year round.
All year round.
Um, what are some family values and structure that you remember from El Salvador or from your home that you don't see here?
You listen to your parents. Like in our case, we grew up in a Christian church, so most of my dad's teachings were based on the Bible. Like don't steal, don't lie, treat others the way you want to be treated, and listen to your elders. You obey your father and your mother, stuff like that.
I wanted to ask you, I know that in the media we see the gang Mara Salvatrucha showing everywhere. Do you guys think that the media shows it how it is, or what are your experiences with that?
To be honest with you, I've only seen it on TV because I went back to El Salvador in 2004, and I didn't see it. So I don't know. To be honest with you, I think that the media is making a big deal out of it. I think part of it, the they have to make some money. They have to eat. They have to bring food to their tables, and they have to be able to sell. And whatever sells, they will they will they will do it. But I didn't see anything like that back home when I went.
Yeah, and I wanna say about La Mara. La Mara to us on our time over there, it was like friends. Like you say, hey, let's go with my friends. Let's go out with friends. That's what we used to say, hey, let's go out with La Mara. That's what that means to us. So now, if you say La Mara, that means something else. Then we don't know about that.
Okay. Could you guys tell us a little bit about the war and your experience with the war when you were living there?
Me, at the time when the war started, it was too hard for me. It was time. I mean, the school time ends right there. It was too hard to go out and start walking to school because soon when you open the door of your house, you start listening to shooting or people screaming, crying because that was the problem on the street or and then what you had to do is go back inside, hide yourself under the bed or for sleeping time you had to hide yourself to sleep and at that time it was too hard, very hard for us to survive and yeah, that's how it started. So say algo más.
Well, I was too young to know what's going on, but I do remember that um we had to stay home, stay inside all the time, and now I realize why. But back then I was like, just stay home, stay in, don't go out, and then I would hear my neighbors, they were getting ready for a funeral because one of the relatives had died in battle, and then you hear that so and so, your friends get killed, and all my friends, all the people that I used to know, they're no longer alive because they either died fighting or they died in the crossfires. But I didn't really, like I said, I was too young to get the full picture.
Do you guys know if the problem with Honduras and El Salvador is still going on?
Yeah, it's been going on for a long time. It's over land. Um, the Honduras government wants to expand and take land from our country little by little. That's pretty much the bottom line.
Also, I wanted to ask you, is music important in El Salvador, or how did you guys learn to play the instruments?
That's a good question. I adopted the music when I was around 8 years old. I love music, and I wanted to start playing the guitar. And I told my dad if he can buy me a guitar. Remember, he bought me a guitar. He paid around at that time he paid very much money. He paid around $8 for a little guitar he bought me.
That was a ton of money.
Yeah, so that was too much. He told me a lot of things. You better take care of this guitar. Pay too much for this, and but I was so happy at that age, around 8 years old. I started playing the guitar, and I started learning until now. I still, keep learning. So I love this guitar. So, and my brother came after me.
Well, I wanted to learn, but we only had one guitar, and since he wouldn't let me borrow it, and one day we're at the coffee fields, like picking coffee beans, and he fell off a coffee tree and he broke his left wrist, the forehand, right here,
wrist, right here,
and he was they put him in a cast. So I go, yeah. So I took the guitar and I learned in 3 months.
Yeah.
Like that's how long it took him to recover. To recover, then he took the guitar back.
What do people do for work in El Salvador?
Farm. They do a lot of farming.
Yeah.
They work as farmers. Like let's say 80% of Salvadorians are farmers.
What is there anything about El Salvador that you would like us to know, or that maybe you think people misunderstand about your culture?
Yes, not all Salvadorians are gangsters. We are not. The gangs did not exist back home. We didn't know them. They started here in LA.
Yes,
And
right.
then most of the gangsters got deported by President Clinton back to El Salvador, and that's how the gangs got spread over there. I can't tell you much about the new generation because I haven't lived there for like over 30 years. But Salvadorians from my age, they're hardworking people. They're not gangsters.
They're not. And me, I don't believe in discriminations. Like we shouldn't discriminate because you are from another country or different countries. We believe that we all created by the same God, and we love USA, we love Mexico, we love all Central America, South America. I think we're all the same and we can get along each other.
And to end, is there anything that you would like us to know as future education majors about Salvadorians, if we ever were to get a Salvadorian child into our classroom? Is there something that we would like to know or something we can do to make them feel more welcome?
Just treat them like you would treat anybody else. Just like you would treat your peers. They're good. Most Salvadorans are good, intelligent people. They just happen to grow in a different environment. They're probably lacking opportunities. But given the opportunity, they can excel in any field, just like anybody else.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Yeah, muchas gracias.